Welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cut Ups here, bringing you second half of the Big Ten championship game. Michigan wins 26 to nada against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Breaking down the second half, we got about 15-ish, maybe a little bit more plays to break down from the second half. Michigan started up 10-0. We'll get into that to a minute. John with a question right off the bat. If you ever consider doing cut-ups of Michigan games from the recent past during the painfully long off season, that's something I have considered. And I think I would be more interested if they were like key plays, right? Like some of the best plays over the last decade or something, and break those down. That'd be a fun idea. But no, I haven't done it yet. So a good idea though, something to consider. Okay, we might get Trevor coming in here later. I know he's got kid duties going on, so maybe not. But we'll get going here pretty quick. So let me shift over. There we go. And let's get into it. I already feel like this game happened like 12 weeks ago. John Sema says here to not watch a horrible Thursday night football game as a Pats fan. Pats are rough, man. I grew up a Pats fan, believe it or not. And the reason is, before you guys think I jumped on the bandwagon, because I'm 31 years old, I was like 9 or 10, and my grandmother had Madden 2000 on her PC. My brother and I would play Madden 2000, and he liked the Broncos because they had John Elway, and I loved the colors of New England, and I was a huge Drew Bledsoe fan. I might have cried when he got injured. And then my neighbor was a big Michigan fan. We were kind of Michigan fans, but my neighbor had season tickets, and whenever his son didn't want to go to like the shitty, non-conference games, I would go to those games with him. So by proxy, I was like, oh, Tom Brady, I'm going to Michigan games a bunch as a younger kid, not a bunch, a couple a year maybe. And I see Tom Brady, who's replacing Drew Bledsoe, and I'm like, oh, he's a Michigan guy. This is cool. And then the rest is history. So anyway, I'm not watching the Pats either. I'm now a Lions fan. I still root for the Patriots a little bit just because of the nostalgia. But anyway, we're talking Michigan here. Dylan Gurk, go blue. Welcome back. Let's get going right away. All right, I don't want to take too long of the night, so let's get going right off the bat here. 3rd and 9 on offense. Trying to drive down the field here on their own, 37-yard line? Here we go. Any day. Ooh, that's a little loud, isn't it? Might be a little loud. Sorry.
McCarthy. Sideline throw. Caught and a first down run.
Just clever use of motion. Really like what they do with Roman Wilson because you got press coverage. That makes it really difficult to go out on a release. So what does this motion do? This allows your wide receiver to get off the line of scrimmage. He has to move with him because this is man coverage. And this is just a man beater coverage. You get in motion, get that separation off the line of scrimmage, and then it's just a quick out. So consider the momentum of this defensive back on this motion. He doesn't know how far across he's going to go, so he has to go this way. That gains you that separation, and then the momentum is taking this guy this way, and then he has to quickly go sharp this way. So let's watch Roman Wilson on his route here from this angle. It sets up the hips as well. So it's clever use of the motion there. And that's what you need to use, how you need to use Roman Wilson. All you need is just a little bit of separation here. Again, look at the hips. The hips here, look at where he's pointed. Right? Point these arrows this way because you can see the hips are pointed this direction. So as long as Roman Wilson can work to his inside, that's a tough flip of the hips here to get out this way. He has to, instead of being like, compare the hips here where you are pointed towards the line of scrimmage, you're already set up 45 degrees away, right? This is 135 degrees to actually get out to this instead of like a straight up 90 degrees if you're going out here. So that motion is what created this advantageous positioning for this defensive back against this route. You work to the inside here. That's a lot more hip rotation that you need out of that defensive back right there. That's a lot more. You lose a lot of speed. Can't get momentum right there. See that hip? You need to open your hips that much more. Instead of being square, you're at a disadvantage. And you can see he's reaching right there. Number 8 has to reach to try to get Roman Wilson to slow down on that route. So the motion just does not set up number 8 well against that route. And those are the clever little motions that I feel like have really, really benefited Michigan's offense in a big way. Roman Wilson's a great athlete. And then you add these tiny little motion things to give them even more of an advantage. And it's a big deal. The routes on the outside, I think you just have like a crossing route here. And then you just have like a deep post. And I think that's just to occupy the safety. Make sure the safety and the corner on this route are taken out of this play so that this intermediate route from Roman Wilson, that is open. I think that's all this is meant to do. And this motion is meant to open that up. So good timing, good throw. You can see the eyes for JJ McCarthy are there the entire way. That's the one read. As soon as you see man, that's what you know you're going towards. So clever play call on 3rd and 9, big pickup. All right, 1st and 10 here at midfield after that play. Application is going to be slow again tonight. Don't know what's going on. Again, I need a new computer. I need a new laptop and I need a new desktop computer. I don't know what's going on.
For Michigan.
God, that's too loud. That's too loud. Let me lower that. Give me a sec. Audio gain. I need to move this down to like -11. Just too loud. All right.
Here's a reverse. Johnson follows his blocks and goes.
So I feel like this play was also set up with the expectation of man coverage. Maybe not, but with an end around like this with an end around like this, when you have these pullers, you're trying to sell everything is going this way. Got Peyton O'Leary going this way. You got this coming across formation. You're pulling Barnhart. It's a good job from this corner. Watch his motion when he sees this out of Cornelius Johnson. This is the only guy that is initially selling this because you're trying to sell this run. So you're trying to get all these linebackers to come flying up. You're hoping the safeties fly up to this as well. But it's a good job from this corner. He's probably calling that out. This sort of motion with his right arm, he's calling out that his guy is leaving. So he's probably barking something out so the rest of his defense can be warned about something coming backside here. And it's a clever little play. Loveland initially going this way on a pull. Now he's going to do a complete 180 and be the lead blocker out here. So I think this is just smart defense. They recognize it pretty early on. But then I don't know what you're doing, Loveland. I don't know what's going on. And this is one of those games where I don't know if you remember earlier in the game from the episode on Tuesday. Excuse me. Barner had an inexplicable sort of block out in space, or lack thereof block, I should say. Max Bredesen had a missed block in space, so the tight ends just weren't locked in. It's really odd because they've been some of the best positions for Michigan week over week. I feel like they've been so consistent. You got to go. I don't know what he's looking for. I don't know what he's waiting for. It doesn't make sense. And you get that shove out of Cornelius Johnson, like, yeah, go. Like, what are you waiting for? You need to get out there. It's not the only mistake. Nugent needs to do a better job. Nugent needs to pick this up. Maybe he's passing this off expecting Trevor Keegan to pick that up, but this is your first body. Do some work. Let Trevor Keegan continue to go along here. Maybe there's going to be a cutback later on. So you got to pick that up if you're Nugent, and Nugent strictly does not. So he just misses. And he's one of the two relevant players, because if you get this block right here from Nugent and Loveland is working up, he should be closer to here. Loveland should be closer to here. Again, force this guy to make a decision, either go inside or go outside. And if you get this block here and you force this guy to make a decision, Cornelius Johnson has the information to either go inside, cut back, go to the outside. But this gives you no information. The world is this guy's oyster. He can go anywhere because this guy isn't forcing him to make that decision at all. So I don't get it. It's 2 missed blocks. And Loveland just does not do a good job there. Give credit to Iowa's defense. They responded appropriately. They called this out. They snuffed it out early. But you have what you want. If you're Michigan, you pause right here. If he's working upfield better than he is, if Nugent is able to pick this up, that could be 6. It really could. So was it a lackluster game? Yeah. But it was weird because this is not opponent. The mistakes were opponent independent. There's nothing Iowa did really here that Michigan did not, that like just outplayed Michigan. These are just poor blocks. It's just poor blocking, poor timing. Just poor execution. And that's not something usually that Michigan has failed on that much this season. But they did there. Okay. 2nd and 10 now. Get my water.
J.J. McCarthy. Seam route. Oh!
This is where the only time I really started feeling squirrely, where I was like, oh my God, this is a brutal read out of it's not a brutal read. Let me rephrase that. This is the appropriate read. If we go from this angle, this is open where he's attempting to throw this, especially because Loveland's just going up the seam here, and then he's going to cut this in a little bit. And if this ball is thrown appropriately right here under this safety, you got a window. This is a window right here, right? You got this window. He just doesn't hit the window. And it's odd because I truly think, I don't know, his footwork doesn't seem terrible here. I honestly think maybe he was thrown off from this defensive lineman jumping to try to block. And maybe I think his eyes might have got, you're trying to see like, what did J.J. McCarthy see here? Because it's obvious from up here at our angle to see that this is where the ball needs to go. I think he just got lost because of this jumping defensive lineman. He got lost on the exact location that he needs to be throwing this ball right here. And I truly think his vision was just blocked. So you have to port yourself into the eye level here of J.J. McCarthy. And there's a huge difference between throwing this ball right here and throwing this ball right there. You know what I mean? That's not a huge difference from right here, but you get downfield, and these are 2 very different plays. So that's something that's a little scary. He just misthrows that, and it should have been a pick. Could have been dangerous. Should have been picked. So I feel like we've had a couple of those this year where they probably could have been picked, and they're a little scary. This is the only one really in this game, and didn't have me feeling that great. But yeah, just an oddly inaccurate throw from him, because I think a knock on J.J. McCarthy is he can be a little risky sometimes. And sometimes that works out, like against OSU, but sometimes it gets really scary, and that one was really scary. But to have just a pure inaccurate throw, that's odd. And his footwork didn't seem terrible on that play. So it's a little bit scary.
And at the 49, can Iowa get off the field? McCarthy finds Donovan Edwards. No room. Edwards.
Just don't like this play. Don't like the play call. Don't like the execution of it. This is all about speed, because how many times did Michigan split out Donovan Edwards out wide, and then they bring him in the backfield, and he's either in for pass protection, they set him out here, right? They've done that a lot in this game. So this is all about timing. You're going back into the backfield, right? You're going to chill, and then you're going to call the play from you in the backfield. So that's what Michigan is trying to sell here by this motion. And then it's boom, get out there. It's a quick throw out here, and you're hoping you have 1, 2, 3 blocks right here, and then you're able to outrun this linebacker 34 to the outside. So here's why I don't like this play, because you cannot hesitate at all. When you catch this ball, you need to be going now. You cannot pitter-patter, and he's pitter-pattering. He downshifts. He takes a couple stutters, and then he goes to the outside. You can't be doing that. You got to go, and you got to go now. Because if you don't go immediately, there you run out of room. I also feel like he needs to be running quicker to the outside. I feel like he needs to be sprinting. And I understand he's fast, and sometimes it looks like he's not going that fast when he is. I don't feel like he's going full speed here. This is a speed play. You get out there quickly because this is the unblocked guy that your team, Michigan, is banking on this guy being a star and this guy being a linebacker. And you can win this battle. You can eliminate him through your speed. So it's all about timing. And part of that timing is use that speed, right? Use that speed that you have, Donovan Edwards. Get out there. And I don't think he's attacking the line of scrimmage in his angle. He's going too far backwards here. He's not threatening enough to get upfield. And then he pitter-patters a little bit. Oh, what'd I just do? I just messed up the application again. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm trying to press play here. Come on, you can do it. The little application that couldn't today and Tuesday. Oh, it's frozen. Okay, there we go. So you see what I mean about that angle? He just takes it too flat. He's not attacking the line of scrimmage. You need to be going. You need to be going, and you need to be going immediately. I don't know why. Maybe this is all a setup, right? Maybe, and I could see it, and I'll eat some crow. Maybe they're putting this on film to where he can continue on this path. You throw it back here. You fake the block, and then Roman Wilson's gone. Okay? Maybe that's all that this is. Maybe that's all this is. But if I'm looking for this to be a successful play, just on this play, not looking at what this sets up later on, you go and you attack the line of scrimmage here. I understand you have a free releasing couple of guys on the edge here that you need to open up this throw angle. So maybe not that aggressive, but at least like this. And you cannot pitter-patter here at all. You need to be running fast, running up towards the line of scrimmage, catch and run. There is no room here for you to catch and evaluate. This is the path right here. And I already think you lost the play by going too far horizontal before you cut up. You need to be threatening. And then once you're closer to here, then maybe you cut back. But there's no attacking. There's no attacking here. He catches. Now he's going to evaluate, and then he's going to go. And you're only going to get 3 yards because of how far behind the line of scrimmage he is when he's doing that evaluation. So, yeah, I just don't love it. I don't love the play. I don't love the lack of downfield shots for Donovan Edwards against a linebacker. I just don't love it. Gus and Joel give Iowa all the credit. Bad offensive execution. I mean, there is some good things that Iowa does on defense. I think their back seven, especially their safeties, a couple of their corners are really good players. I think their linebackers are sound. They don't make mistakes, and they don't allow yards after contact. They don't. So they deserve a lot of credit in that regard. But Michigan was just missing blocks. And, of course, you have to consider, well, how much of this was on the defense, how much of it was just offensive execution. And that is where I agree with you, Mr. Martini. There was a lot more yardage on the field that Michigan just straight up left because of poor execution. Why does it always seem like Donovan is decisive when he shouldn't be and tries to break ankles when he shouldn't? I don't know, man. If I had the answer, I would be a college coach. I don't know. Don't know. Think they'll ever do a throwback to JJ from Donovan, who probably should be on the table. Should be on the table. All right, moving on to defense here after the punt, 2nd and 7. Ooh, we got a controversial one. This is controversial. And I feel like I'm always like, the refs have been a little bit harsh on some of these reviews. This one, I think, went Michigan's way. But we'll evaluate this one. All right, here we go.
7 at the 9. Play fake. Hill throws. Lost it. In the air. And incomplete.
All right. So let's view this play. It is strictly a corner blitz because Mike Sanders still playing corner a bunch. They could have had something here a little bit if you just recognize this right away. But because it's play action, I think this safety's coming down. I don't know if that's Keon Sabb, but you're dropping one safety high, replacing the corner here. sending the blitz off the edge. This is exactly what Michigan wanted on a little play action here. That buys time for the corner to get there, and you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Boom, you're in trouble. So he tried to throw that. And honestly, now that I'm looking at it, they possibly, okay. Let me see. So it looks like you are one high safety. You're coming down here to dissuade anything immediately that Mike Sainer still is blitzing off the edge. So they're looking to steal this. Then you have a pass off here. Mike Barrett recognizes this tight end is coming down the seam. So I think that's what Moore is going to eventually pick up. You have your backside corner is going to pick up this seam on the backside. And then you're going to have Colson sitting here in the middle for anything coming across here. So Barrett, you'll watch Barrett here. He's going to pass off or attempt to pass off this tight end down the seam to, who is that? Keon Sabb. Yeah. So this might be a pick if this actually gets there because Barrett passes off the seam and Barrett is running out like a missile here if this throw actually gets out there. So you might actually have a pick six if Barrett is able to get out there. Maybe not. Maybe not. But that's dangerous for Deacon Hill to be trying to throw that ball against Michael Barrett. He looks like he's in position for that. Okay, let's break it down into whether this is a pass or not. I don't think this gives us the best angle. It isn't. I'll show you this angle, but this doesn't show a whole lot. Now, it's close. It's close. This is one of the better angles, so let's start here. I'm going to go frame by frame here. His arm is moving forward, in my opinion. You can't really tell on this angle either. Is the ball moving forward? That's the key consideration. All right. And this angle from behind, it's really hard to tell if it's forward or not. This is one of the better ones. This one's way slowed down. So the elbow, this is where you have to like really get into like what is forward motion of a pass. To me, the elbow is clearly like it's not a debate. The elbow is moving forward, but is the forearm, right? You have to distinguish, is he loading up still? Is he in the throwing motion at this point? When does it start to move forward? And I would argue that there are one or two frames here that look like this hand is starting to move forward. I think it's also something where I don't know if his throwing motion is weird or it's because his hips are open, right? He's not able to step into this, so his hips are like a little bit wide. So the ball, right, the ball is not pointed forwards yet, and that still has yet to happen. But I think that hand is moving forward a little bit. All right, so that's just my take. Yeah, this is a good angle as well. I think this is enough to say he's in his throwing motion. And you can disagree because it's really, really close. And I think it's really, really hard to say. So here's my take. It was called incomplete on the field. I have a really hard time either way it was called. If it was called a fumble on the field, I would have a really hard time seeing them overturn it. Being it was called incomplete, I have a really hard time seeing them overturn it as a fumble. So for them to say this is indisputable, video evidence that this is a fumble, I just think they're wrong. Like I don't understand. It's tough. This is about as close as you can get. So for them to overturn it is really difficult, but I think I see enough from like an arm and hand motion here of the ball moving forward. But it's weird because of his hips, right? He's not stepping into this throw. That ball is only starting to be pointed forward. So I'm more shocked that they overturned it because of how close it was. If they called it a fumble, I would have been shocked if they said it was incomplete. I think it's one of those where it really matters how they call it on the field. So it definitely is one of those. I'll take it. I was in the stands. I was like, wait, really? Because they showed it on the big screen like once. It was really weird. They weren't showing it much. And then they overturned it. I was like, wow, that seemed really close. So here's the thing that was making everyone mad. Okay, let's go back to like the broadcast angle of this for the end of the play. And let me see if it'll actually load here. Because we need to think about what is like an immediate recovery, because by the rule book, if they overturn it, they have to determine, okay, when was it like was there an immediate recovery from one side or the other if they overturn it. So let's get back to that aspect of this play.
Play fake, Hill throws, lost it in the air, and incomplete.
And I mean, that whistle is blown like right here. This is the first motion right here. And that's when you hear the whistle come in. So look at where the ball is. The ball is right here, and they're just blowing it dead. This is the first motion of incomplete, the first hear of the whistle, and that's where the ball is.
And
that's immediate. That's immediate. And this is like, to say that the play is completely dead, the ball is in the air all up until this moment, right? Like, watch where the ball is this entire time.
Rose lost it in the air, and
that ball is alive for a long portion of that. This play, like, the ball is alive. It's almost picked. It's almost picked from Kenneth Grant right here. And again, Kenneth Grant, great awareness, almost comes down with that. So ball is alive, ball is alive. Ball just hits the ground here. Boom. There's your whistle blown. Here's the ball fluttering this way. The only person who could have recovered this is Josh Wallace. That's it. That's it. So I think I included some of the lip reading of Brian Ferentz. And we'll do a little live lip reading here. This is bullshit. You had blown the effing whistle. He blew the whistle. That's what he's saying. Bullshit. I love it. You gotta blow the effing whistle. So funny. He is so mad. Players are just like, whoa. So anyway, they're mad about the wrong thing. That's the main thing. They're mad about the wrong thing. Be mad about the hand coming forward. The hand coming forward. Be mad about that, whether or not it's even a fumble or an incompletion. To me, this is an immediate recovery. There's your first, right? Like right now, boom, there's your first indication and first whistles that this is an incomplete pass, because that's right when the ball hits. And then it's boom, right there. There's the ball, clear recovery. So you're wrong if you're mad about when they blew the whistle. They blew it pretty quick. And there's no one else really except for Josh Wallace that would have recovered that. And it's probably a touchdown if this was actually called a fumble on the field, because who's tackling them? Maybe one of these guys. But anyway, regardless, I think it was too close to overturn. I think Michigan got a little bit fortunate. No, it didn't change the output of the game because Iowa's not scoring shit. But anyway, Brian Ferentz is mad about the wrong thing. But he has he should be mad because his offense is putrid. But that's his doing. So what am I saying? All right, first goal. First goal, Michigan takes over. And this is really when I think the Iowa fan next to me left pretty close after this play.
Complete right in front of all the players. So first down and goal at the 6-yard line. Blake Corum, touch.
Good run. Good run here from Blake Corum. This initially isn't there. What does Michigan love to do? They like to follow 44. This is just, I don't even know what you call this. Lead insert, where the goal, and when I say goal, the play design is supposed to be single block here on defensive tackle for 77, double here on your center and right guard. I think probably release with your center to this linebacker backside, lead with 44. So like lead insert. I don't know if that's an actual term, but that's what I would call this, where you're inserting your fullback here, get to this linebacker, and then you run right through the A gap. That's the play. Not able to work off of that double team, and there's just not a lot of gaps here. So you're not able to release off of this double, not able to get there to get onto the linebacker, and then not a whole lot of movement. Good job from the linebacker, at least standing up Bredesen in the hole. So you're kind of stopgapped there. And then you have, I think, just a little bit of an overplay from the rest of the defenders here. There's a gap here that they probably should be attempting to fill, especially this guy. And he's just overplaying this here. And that's what creates this bounce because of the overplay backside. So they're pretty sound on defense, Iowa is. But this is just not giving up on the play and continuing on the backside. And give Barner a lot of credit. He didn't have a great play on Tuesday that we covered in the first half. He stays engaged here throughout. That takes a lot. That takes a lot to stay engaged on that backside where you don't think the play is going. So that's a really good decision for Blake Corum to hit that, say, nope, I got to see what else is here, and then just not give up on the play. And good job from Barner, continuing to block into the end zone there. That creates enough of a crease there. So this was poor defensive execution. Backside, the safety could have done a little bit better. I think that's Castro, 29 or so, 29. I think this is Castro. So he needs to be filling this gap because you have to assume right here, trust your eyes that your linebackers are doing what they need to be. And he doesn't fill that gap enough. Usually a really, really good, dependable safety for them, just doesn't do a great job. So if at first the hole isn't there, bounce. That's what Corum does. And I think he ties for the all-time Michigan rushing touchdown with he's tied for first now. He needs one more touchdown to be the outright leader in rushing touchdowns in his career at Michigan. He's going down as one of the best running backs in Michigan history, straight up. He's had a phenomenal career. So really proud that he is in the record books there.
10 yards of the night. First down at the 37. Hill over the middle. Little screen. And it's caught by Ostringham. And
this was one of the few, I think, one of like 3 positive offensive plays I had for Iowa. Clever little play design. I'll give him some credit. This is a late developing tunnel screen action. Really clever. Where you send out 87. Send him out on a block here. Wait. And then he's getting back over towards the middle of the field. You're trying to sell a little jet action here. Trying to sell a little play action with your running back. Got a lot of things going on there. And then late release here. And you have your tight end right here. So the running back action will take out, hopefully, your linebacker. The initial maybe motion here, the jet from number 3, you're hoping will take out here. And the goal is obviously just to open up the middle of the field for this late developing screen pass. What could have been a little bit better? You got to recognize when guys are letting you go. So when you're letting guys go like this and you're not receiving much resistance, you have to try to reroute. So this is a player that could have recognized that reroute. Cam Good could have recognized and rerouted. I feel like Michigan did about as well as you can to mitigate it. I think this is just clever play design. You got. And sometimes that's going to happen. Didn't happen often in this one, but I will just give Iowa credit on offense, which didn't happen a whole lot in this game. Okay, 4th and 1. And this is a long 4th and 1. So, I mean, they go for the tush push here, right? And it just does not work for Iowa. Michigan found a way to defend it here.
Downs this year. Quarterback sneak. I don't think they got it.
And I love how they recognize this on Michigan's defensive front. They just see this wedge, and then they just dive. Just watch how low they dive immediately. There's a snap. Boom. Get under them. Don't let any push. There's no push here. You're going to have to go over. And they guess correctly. And I love the sellout from the linebackers as well. Dive low, dive low, dive low, dive low. Go over. Go over. So that's like the two steps you need initially. Boom, tunnel under if you're a defensive line. Don't let any push because you're taking out their ankles. And then you have the linebackers dive over, meet that quarterback. He's not going to jump over. And then the third step is what Makari Page does. That's just that angle. You have Makari Page coming backside, and this is the wrong side of it, but he's going hunting for the ball. Come off the edge here. Hunt for that ball. You can see him diving in there. Grab the ball. Because, again, it doesn't matter about the body. And maybe this angle does show it best, but that's what Makari Page is doing here. He's coming behind this play. If you're going to try to continue to push, get around the side here and just hang on to that ball. Try to rip that ball this way. So at the end of the play, you can see that's what Makari Page is doing right here. He's going to pop up again right about here. You can see right here. He's tugging on that ball. He's tugging on that ball so that there's no doubt. There's no doubt. This is the biggest danger of the tush push when it comes to a non-chipped football. What do I mean by non-chipped football? When you call the play dead, usually the quarterback is going to be right around here. But there's no way of actually knowing where he is. So the quarterback can continue to tunnel his way after it's blown dead and actually end up a little bit further than where he was, say he's under 3 bodies here. He can continue to tunnel his way, inch the ball forward. But with Makari Page going straight for the ball here, there's no doubt about where the ball is. There's no doubt about that. There's no tunneling there. You go for that ball, you grab the ball, you rip it backwards. Because then what's the best case scenario? Oh, it was here. There's no extra tunneling here. You just go for that ball. Make it no doubt. So it's clever to do with a safety that usually, what can they do? There's so many bodies there from offensive and defensive line and linebackers and stuff. Go find the ball. Go hunting. Be a little honey badger in there. Go get the ball. Yeah, Shady. How are you late, man? Unacceptable. I'm just kidding. Welcome to the stream. Okay, Michigan gets the ball back because they turned it over because they can't tush push effectively. Good defense from Michigan. They are trying to drive here, put the game away. Any day now.
And McCarthy keeps it. Looking for the first down. Gets outside and more.
Feels like he's on ice skates, man. I don't know if this is like he's not fully healthy or he needs better cleats or something, but good keep. 3rd and 1, 3rd and short. This guy is committing downhill on this fake. This is the mesh point right here. The eyes, J.J. McCarthy, are on this edge defender. They do have this overhang safety or defensive back. I'm not sure exactly who he is. So this is who you have to beat one-on-one. But they're playing this relatively well. And J.J. McCarthy just beats him to the outside. So he makes that initial read, boom, and then it's just one-on-one. Can I beat you to the outside? And J.J. McCarthy does. If he doesn't stumble, it might be a bigger pickup. But, and he's mad about it. But it's good initial read there. He sells it pretty well. And I wonder how much of this is like a design keep versus something that they told J.J. McCarthy going into this. Because at a certain point right here, his eyes are no longer on this edge defender, which is interesting because you would think if this is an actual like read, you would continue to keep your eyes here and ensure that he's headed downfield. So this might have been something where it's like, hey, they're crashing really hard. This is going to be there. And his eyes, he's able to get his eyes off earlier for some reason. Maybe he's looking beyond this to this player. Not sure. But so he tries to sell that, sells it really well. And now it's just mano-y-mano. So he stumbles a little bit here, and then he's just not able to keep up. I think maybe the turf, right? The turf could have been doing something a little bit here. But yeah, just a little bit slip and slidey. So it could have been turf, could have been the cleats. Who knows? You're going to need them. You're going to need J.J. McCarthy's legs against Alabama without a doubt. So hoping this extra couple weeks off will give him enough time to heal up because there's a lot of room on the ground for J.J. McCarthy to run. I mean, Peyton Thorne for Auburn ran for a fair amount of yards against the Crimson Tide as well.
JJ pulls it down, looking across his body over the middle.
Run the ball. If this is 3rd and 9, maybe throw it. If it's 3rd and 9, maybe throw it. Where's he looking initially? His eyes are over here. Let's see. Doesn't trust what he sees. Because you have the safety over the top, you're in cover 2. That's what Iowa plays most of the time. I think you're initially looking here, and this can be taken away from the safety, I believe. So that's probably what J.J. McCarthy is looking for initially. That's not there. He's trying to shift to the other side. Doesn't look like anything is particularly coming open right here. And then he decides to take off. Doesn't trust it. Right about here, you got to run. It's 2nd and 9. You got to run. You can probably pick up first down. Probably pick up a first down. If not, it's 3rd and 1 or 2 at worst. No reason to one, get Roman Wilson killed here, especially throwing it high. If you're going to throw this ball, try to throw it low. I understand you have this guy here, so maybe that's what he was worried about. But also look how open. You're in scramble drill. Throw it towards the sideline. You're more likely to find something along the sideline that's safer than right here where you got multiple bodies converging on Roman Wilson. So I just disagree. Go to Colson Loveland. No idea. Is this ain't going to give us anything? I mean, this is just, it's a tough catch. It's a really tough catch. Good defense. But yeah, just not the right spot to go. Where I think, again, looking late, and, maybe this defender was over here defending this and got over watching J.J. McCarthy's eyes and him loading up here. So maybe this was less open than what it looks like. Could have been. But you got to run this ball. You got to run it. No excuse. Right about here. It was decent pass protection for the time. The internal clock was just there. So I think he made the right call of when to duck out, but he had better options with Colson Loveland and just running the ball. He didn't make them. All right. I am going to show every field goal because Turner, he's a player. Came up clutch, 46-yarder here. These are big. Maybe not in this game, right? Because game was over at 3-0. But against Bama, against OSU, right?
Doman with the hold, got it away, and good.
And these are no doubters. These are no doubt field goals. So James Turner, man, what a find. What a great find in the transfer portal. All right, back on defense.
Hill under pressure, knocked out of his hands, loose, and Michigan has it again. Whoa!
Braden McGregor doing his best. Aiden Hutchinson doing his best Aiden Hutchinson impression. Top of your screen here. Now this tackle got cooked from a couple guys. Jalen Harrell gave him the business. Braden McGregor just barely even gets touched here. Straight up. He just flat out beats him. Boom. And then just well-timed. A little bit fortunate that Deacon Hill decides now's the time I'm going to throw exactly when the pass rush gets there. But that's football. That's football. Sometimes the timing is right. And it's a great job from Braden McGregor. Good little hand fight right there. You can see him shuck away the hands. Boom. Get those hands off me. Turns the corner. Boom. I love how well Michigan's defensive line get their hands on the ball, whether it's passing or batting down the ball at the line of scrimmage on these rushes. Jalen Harrell's been great at it. You got Braden McGregor on this one. They're not looking for the hit. They're going for the ball. The ball is what matters. Mike Sainris's still obviously going for the ball. Ball is what matters. They create turnovers. And sometimes there's some turnover luck here and there for certain teams. And I do feel like there's an element of that. But I feel like Michigan has really created a lot of their turnovers this year, either through coverage or just through great defensive line play. So just really well timed. Just chop at the arm. Just chop at it. Boom. That's no doubter. Elston may be our best position coach. I believe so. He's done a tremendous job raising pretty much every defensive lineman on this roster. And then look at the big man again, Kenneth Grant. He's always just near the ball. He almost got the pick earlier on the Mike Sainris still fumble that Brian Ferentz lost his mind at, right? Kenneth Grant is just always around the ball. I need to see a big man touchdown out of Kenneth Grant. But Braden McGregor, really good job going for the ball, batting it away. Good awareness from your defensive line here to scoop that ball up. Grant wanted to go distance. That's a great point, Shadyville. And I can't remember a Michigan defense that created this many turnovers. They've really elevated that. And I think Elston's a big part of that. Minter deserves a lot of credit as well, because you're creating a lot more opportunities for this defense to get clear sacks or be in good coverages. But Michigan is capitalizing on those opportunities more so than they have in previous years. They're not just getting big hits anymore. They are causing these big time turnovers and doing that over and over in each game. It's huge. Come on, application. There we go.
McCarthy looking. McCarthy sacked again.
Yeah. All right. Who is this on? Let's check here. You got trips up top. You got the eyes go initially over to Barner. And this is another one. I just don't know what he's really hoping for, because you got two safeties high. Seems like this route is you're threatening the seam and then you're doing an out route. And you're hoping that this out route, you're able to throw it right about here. So this guy isn't able to get enough depth out here. He has to respect down the seam, so he's getting enough depth. So there's going to be a hole right here. And excuse me, I feel like you can loft this towards the sideline, because 27 is doing a good job splitting this, because you do have Donovan Edwards out of the backfield here, and he has to split that. He has to make that decision. How far do I drop back versus how much do I respect the running back out of the backfield? I feel like he's doing a good enough job, but I do feel like there's probably room towards the sideline here for Barner. So that's initially where the eyes of J.J. McCarthy are, and then he comes off of it. Now he's looking, I don't know if he's looking at the safety here. Seems like his eyes are shifting over. Oops. I don't know why I shifted that. His eyes are shifted over to the safety over the top here on this route. I think that's Cornelius Johnson. Maybe that's Tyler Morris. It's Tyler Morris. So he's looking there to the other safety, and then he's looking here to Roman Wilson. And by that time, his time's just pretty much up. But you had Cornelius Johnson to the outside. So I don't know like the exact read progression here, because it starts all the way over here. So it seemed like check this, and he's on this for a while, and then it's check here for this safety, and then it's check for Roman Wilson, and then like fourth read. And you're almost always guaranteed first read and second read unless something goes catastrophically wrong up front. But once you get to third read, it's like ball needs to come out, and you're not even going to get to fourth read. So to me, what probably should have happened is you go 1, 2, and then dump off. It's probably what should have happened. Instead, he went to 3, and then pressure got there. So let's look next at the pass protection. Not terrible. Pretty good initially. And then, Barner just straight up loses. Barner eventually loses here. So you have enough time. There's your first read. There's your second read. I would dump off right here. I would go for dump off, because you got Blake Corum right here. You got to start feeling that internal clock. You got the pressure coming backside from 13. So Ladarius Henderson doesn't help, because this forces J.J. McCarthy to step up. And then you have Carson Barnhart losing that as well. So that's tough. You get suplex. That's also not great. Don't love to see that. I don't think it's like a super illegal play, because they didn't call it dead. If they had called it dead right here and then he suplexed him, that'd be rough. He was down. Ball was not coming out until it hit the ground. So anyway, I think the internal clock was going off here. I think he rotated to his third read and should have dumped it off to Blake Corum. I think he should have. But tough. You had two guys losing on the offensive line. I think you still could have had a shot to throw to Barner on your first read, but he didn't. He was playing super conservative, because the only way you lose this Iowa team is turning over the ball. And I feel like he was taught going into this game, we're not going to do that, right? So I feel like he wasn't really taking any risks, and that hurt in the actual passing game quite a bit. All right, 3rd and 13 now.
At the 18. McCarthy. Over the middle. Income.
So it's it's one thing or the next. This isn't a bad throw. This is where this throw needs to be. It's in traffic. It's in traffic, but you need to catch this ball if you're Barner. This is the first read as well. Good pass protection, good ball. Got to catch that. Got to catch that ball. It's a simple in route right at the sticks. It's there. The eyes for JJ McCarthy go towards that safety. Again, he got cover 2. It's there. Colson Loveland on this route. He's going out. That's going to clear this linebacker underneath. So you're going to have a clear window here for your tight end. It's there. It's there. Got to catch the ball. So was JJ McCarthy perfect? Far from it. Had some rough throws, some rough reads, lack of giving your guys a chance at times. This ball needs to be caught right there. Got to catch it. Got to catch it. It's first down, first and goal from the 4. Got to do it. So that's tough. You had a couple of those. And these are uncharacteristic drops for these guys. Barner's been pretty dependable. Colson Loveland had a big one at the end of their first half. He's been extremely dependable. Tough. But again, if there's ever a time to have these drops, learn from it. This is the time. It's a good point, Shadyville, as well. Losing second down made that third less attainable. Yeah, you got to force more. You got more yardage there. So it's tough, but it was there. It was there. Tough coverage, but you had what you wanted. Another field goal attempt here for Turner, 36-yarder from the right hash. And this is great for him. It's not just like he only makes from one hash or the other in the middle of the field. His previous 46-yarder was from the left hash, and this was for the right hash. So
James Turner from 36. Been good from 35 and 46. 3 for 3.
Just no doubter, man. Dude's a machine. The machine.
Anderson. And all of a sudden, I see a tweet come my way, and what does it say?
First down coming up. And this is Ostringa.
Got caught. It's Keon Sabb. Trying to go for a pick 6 here. Got man coverage on the outside. This guy's going up. I think that's Regini. Why did it shift to my highlighter? Regini or I don't know. Ragazzini. I don't know. This guy, he's going up the sideline. Maybe that's Caleb Brown. I'm not sure. Anyway, he's going up here. You're bringing a, where is he? Tight end. Where is he? He's right. No. Where'd he go? Oh, you're releasing your tight end. He's chipping initially on the defensive end, and then he's going to release up the seam. So Keon Sabb is going to the outside of this, expecting, I think, the throw to be to the outside here. And he's trying to jump that. It's a good decision from this tight end because it looked like he was continuing out here, that he was going to continue running towards the sideline. And that's why you have Keon Sabb running this way, trying to jump it. But it's a good job sitting here for the tight end. And that ball is thrown just enough towards the inside, not towards the sideline. So that fools Keon Sabb just a little bit. And that's what it takes for Iowa's offense. Because if Keon Sabb decides to cut in front of it instead, could potentially have been a pick 6 that way. So a little bit fortunate for Iowa. That was like their biggest play. So I don't think it was like, this is still good defense, but you have to be a little bit more measured. Because I still think if he's reading it right here, if he just chops a little bit and reads the direction of this pass, he can still step in front of this and pick it off. So I think he just bit a little bit too hard on this initial route and didn't consider that it could possibly be towards the inside there. Sabb bites a good amount. I noticed he didn't play much versus Ohio and Penn State. Yeah. I mean, he's young. So he's bound to be like a little bit more energetic maybe, or make the less safe plays and try to go for a little bit more flashy plays is what it is. Still a great player. All right, fourth and down here. 4th down and 5 here past midfield. Michigan brought the starters back on at this point. They're like, no, you're not getting any points.
This little spot right here. 4th down and 5. Hill knocked down, incomplete.
I mean, this is decent coverage from Jane McBurrows. It's also just a bad throw. It's a simple, Iowa's getting cooked on their tackles. So this is just a boom slant right in the middle on the outside. And I think he beats Jay McBurrows. If you throw this ball in front here, if you throw this ball right here, there's a gap. Of course, you have a safety coming down that should be able to take that on the inside. But Jay McBurrows is a step behind at this point. That throw being behind, like right now, you pause right here. If this ball is thrown right here, you got beat. And sometimes that happens on a slant. Sometimes the guy runs a good route and you get beat. But because it's behind, that eliminates that extra step number 3 had, and that allows Jay McBurrows to make a play on the ball. So not the best defense. Would like to see Jay McBurrows do a little bit better with his footwork there. I think he just got caught up a little bit. Was helped out with a bad throw. And that's kind of Iowa's offense. It's kind of Iowa's offense in a nutshell, where even if someone does make a play, someone else will mess it up. And Jay McBurrows is there. So, I mean, I think that's maybe the last play on defense. I think there might be one more. But, okay, a couple plays on offense left here. 3rd and 5. Got 4.5 minutes left.
It shouldn't affect his draft status. He's a potential first-round pick. For him again.
I don't know why I clipped this one. Oh, I think this was another example of there being yards left on the field. So fun little play design. You're blocking down here. Got block, pulling 2 guys. Colson Loveland to the outside, Ladarius Henderson to the outside. And this is about timing as well. Go flying outside. And I think there's potential to cut this back if you're Blake Corum. Because sure, you got this block here. You have this block. But there's no one really backside here that's tracking towards this play. And you got extra bodies on the inside between Ladarius Henderson. I think this is Percy in at this point. And then downfield, you have Trent Jones. So you got a number of bodies working downfield. 50. Who is that? 58. I don't know who 58 is. So anyway, I don't agree with the decision here for Blake Corum he just tunnels, right? He tunnels between this. If he just takes a step and cuts this way, you have a pretty good shot here. So I think he just tries to continue outside. El Hadi. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. So if you just take a second here and then cut backside, you have a much better path. So I feel like right here, see this crease? You can go right here. There's a much better shot there for this play to be successful. Instead, he kind of buries himself here. Unfortunate. Don't get the first down with that. So I don't think it was the best decision, which is a rare thing to say against Blake Corum. But that sets up a 50-yarder. 50-yarder, James Turner. Here we go. Left hash. Game on the line. This is like the exact kick that the Ohio State kicker missed against Georgia, isn't it?
Milroe, who's going to be a star. Here's Turner, and he is perfect. This one.
All right, that one snuck in a little bit, right? But still plenty of distance. And he was a guy who missed it like quite a bit beyond 45 last year. So heck of a kick. All right, last play on defense, I think.
Finishes.
4th down and 12. Low snap. Hill handles it. Steps up, and Hill will go down.
Just straight up sack. Can't even get the ball away. Got Mason Graham applying pressure here, working through 2 guys. He gets the initial push. TJ Guy on the backside. That's going to force Deacon Hill to step up. And then you have Derek Moore cleaning it up. Defensive line just eats. Everyone eats on defensive line. Look at Kenneth Grant. What a flash of lightning. Do you see that? Holy cow. You're like, where's the big guy? Where's the big guy? There he is. Come flying down. That's terrifying. Holy shit. Yeah. So, great job. Line was 21. I think it was like 21 and a half, 22 and a half, something like that. Might have been even a little bit more than that. 26-0 is a blowout. It is. 4 possessions. I think that's the like 3 possessions is a sound win. Like I don't know if that's a blowout. 4 possessions is a blowout. Depends on the book. Yeah, so it was anywhere between like 21 and a half and 23 or something like that. All right, and here we go. We got to get the Oh, I didn't get the other clip of Tony Petitti, but at least I have this. All right. I think we use the word terrifying during every cut up to describe some play by Grant. He's a freak. He's crazy. He terrifies me.
Well, I guess it's time to hand out some hardware, isn't it? I want to first thank Amy Adams and Discover for everything that you've done supporting Big Ten football and being the title sponsor of the Big Ten championship game. Thank you, Amy. And to present tonight's championship trophy, Coach Harbaugh wanted it to go to Zach Zenner. So the commissioner of the Big Ten, Tony Petitti, the trophy to 65, Zach Zenner. Up here real quick. Coach Harbaugh, you got.
And then you can see Tony Petitti just slinking away. There he is, just slinking away, taking off, and he's just gone. He's just gone. He was gone so quick too. I mean, listen, I went to this game. Didn't think I was going to go to this game. I went to this game purely to boo Tony Petitti. For him to not take the mic, what a cop-out. What a cop-out. And, I mean, it's just brutal leadership. It's a lack of leadership. You go back to last year, Kevin Warren, not very loved by many. It's part of your job to be booed, all right, as commissioner. You have like 2 jobs as commissioner. One of them is get booed when you're presenting, right? Think of Roger Goodell, right, of the NFL. He gets booed at every draft ever, and he leans into it because he recognizes it's part of the effing job. It's part of it. It's part of it. Stupid. So I booed as loud as I could at the game. I went just to boo Tony Petitti. Shamelessly, I'll admit that. Which is funny because he's getting money for me buying tickets to go to that game. But I don't care. It's the principle of it. He needed to hear that boo. Yeah, there's lots of news when it comes to like contracts and stuff, the 5-year, 55 mil, whatever. I think the biggest thing is, and I don't know anything right now, truly, but all that I've heard is Michigan was hoping that the notice of allegations would have come out from the NCAA so that Michigan can be confident in then having their contract announced, because who knows what Michigan's announcement of that, like, I don't want to get all like conspiracy or whatever, but like, will the NCAA punish differently if it's Harbaugh there versus not? Who's to say? So I feel like Michigan wanted those notice of allegations out by now before announcing the contract. Maybe not. And maybe it is just something that Harbaugh is looking over. I know there's speculation that like the clause as a part of that is you can't be looking for an NFL job as a part of this off season. I don't know. There's probably some nuggets of truth to each of those. I don't think Harbs will sign it until he knows he won't get an NFL job. Yeah, I don't know either. It's also something where I think he just likes to have his options open. And he's probably really, really locked in to trying to get this team a national championship as well. So all of us can speculate, but he might be looking at Alabama film, or I know he's on the road probably doing a bunch of recruiting visits and is focused on that. So it's no way of knowing where his mind's at, truly. So it's hard to say. And then, yeah, it's funny. Manny Diaz taking the head coach job at Duke. I mean, he was a good DC, aggressive defense, right? Michigan kind of torched it. Not this year, really, but previous year, Michigan torched it. So I think I can't blame the guy for taking a head coaching job, but they got a really good offensive coordinator. Forget where they got a guy from offensive coordinator. So I was like, man, these are some really good coordinators for Penn State now with Manny Diaz and that new OC they got. So I was like, we'll see. Shadyville talking about the Harbaugh. It's not fair for language to be in the contract. I mean, to a certain extent, I get both sides because you don't want to make yourself look like a fool by extending this contract that has this, or that 11 mil for 5 years each year, or 55 mil over 5 years, and then just have him bolt. It's just not a good look for the university to have that happen. So I can understand it. And you're saying, hey, we're willing to make you the highest paid coach in America. We want that. And the only thing we ask in return is that you don't look this offseason. I think it's reasonable. But again, it's who is it reasonable for, and is it reasonable to both parties? So I can get both sides. I'm afraid if Harbaugh leaves, he'll take Minter with him for sure. I mean, who knows who goes with him? Frankly, I don't want to have that discussion right now. Could be. Okay. Michigan.rivals.com. Join me there. Josh has a ton of great recruiting stuff going on these days. Some good Harbaugh negotiation or Harbaugh contract discussion as well. Was Ward at the post-game celebration? I'm not sure. If Harbs can get through this year and get through anything. Amen to that, Emily. I agree with you there. But, okay, join us all at the Den. Josh, Trevor, myself, Brock, everyone over there. A ton of great information, great discussion, great community that we have over there. So michiganrivals.com for that. Throw a like on this video if you like the series. Hopefully we get 2 more weeks of these episodes and not just one more. Maybe I'll do some Bama sort of film because obviously we won't have it next week. It might take a little bit. It might take a little bit of time. But victory or loss versus Bama, still plan on doing the cut-ups because I'm not done looking at this team. And I don't want this to be the last episode. And win or loss, cut-ups, there's a lot to learn. That's what this show's all about. Appreciate you joining. Appreciate you all. Shadyville, Mr. Martini, Moose, John, Emily, everyone here. Who did I forget? Michigan Lover. Yeah, I think I mentioned pretty much everyone here. Appreciate you joining. And yeah, subscribe, like, I already mentioned all that. You know the deal. Okay, have a good rest of your Thursday. Have a good rest of your weekend. Follow me on Twitter at Steven Toski for any future videos. And hit the notification bell on YouTube. When I schedule these lives, you'll get a notification, so then you'll know when the next episode is. So whether it's Alabama prep, cut-ups, anything like that, you'll be first to know. All right. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Take care.